How's it going, everyone? This is my hello, and welcome back to Undertale. In the last video, we decided to not fight Asgore, but instead hang out with Alphys, and that turned into a date with Alphys, which was supposed to be a date between Undyne and Alphys. Both of them, well, Alphys got to tell Undyne some truths, so she was more honest with herself, and that was nice. And, well, anime is real. So ever since we did that event, we have Alphys in our menu now, yay! And Sans is eating lunch. So I'm back in Tammy Village because I did some grinding for money. I did a cloudy glasses trick where you buy cloudy glasses at Gerson's, the turtle, and then you sell cloudy glasses to Tammy, who buys them for more than what you pay for them. So basically, I want to show off the Tammy Armor because, well, the Tammy Armor is super powerful. It is like the ultimate armor in the game because it is. So here's the thing, when I first saw it, it was like what? Super high priced, like its highest price is like 9,999 G, but the price actually goes down every time you die in the game. So if you die in the game, you die for real. So I died enough times in this game to, well, lower the price down to 35,000 G, so that's pretty nice. Boy, Tammy. So let's take a look at our Tammy Armor, shall we? It is super powerful. The things you can do with the college education: raises my attack, and recovers HP every other turn, and it also increases our invincibility frames. I think that's what it should imply. So, you know, you flicker more. Yeah, so even the Heart Locket isn't as powerful as the Tammy Armor. So that is magnificently magnificent. So in today's video, I want to cover some, well, other things in the game. Secrets / extra things that I never got around to showing in the playthrough. So when it comes to main story progression, you're not going to see any of that. We're supposed to go to Alphys' lab since Papyrus told us to, since I guess Alphys wants us to come to her lab, but we're not going to do that. We have a few things that we have collected, so, you know, by now links should have popped up on the screen, which can allow you to navigate between different points in the video, corresponding to different topics, or different extra stuff. So let's go to the first thing that I want to go into. Hi Blukey, what's up? So, way back then, around the hotel, I bought the mystery key from Caddy and Bratty, but we never really used it. It's too bent to fit on your keychain. Well, that's great. So it's a unique item, and, you know, you think we should unlock something. Maybe it unlocks that one door outside of Snowden. Nah, no one's gonna open that door except if they cheat. The answer is you open the door with this mystery key here. Wait, what? Hello? There we go. Oh, that's a little awkward, but sure, let's go inside. Oh, the key disappeared. Aw. Whoa, this room looks fabulous. Oh, I can't go through the books, but I was about to say that pillow reminds me of Steven Universe just because of the stars. Can't you see that I can... How does the song go? That can't you see I'm a star? Can't you see that I'm a star? So this place looks nice. There's a TV there. I wondered. So this person must be Blukey's neighbor, huh? So there's a bunch of diaries here. Dear diary, Shiren's sister fell down recently. That's pretty sad. It's sad. Without her sister to speak for her, she's become more reclusive than ever. Oh, is that why she's so... Aw, poor Shiren. She lost, like, one of the most valuable people in her life, huh? So I reached out to her and told her that she, Blukey, and I should all perform together sometime. She seemed to like that idea. Shiren did love it when we performed together, rather than, you know, having to sing alone. Remember that battle? Okay, so they mentioned Blukey. I assume that... I can imagine Blukey would be like a DJ or something, and I don't know what this person would do. Dear diary, I like to buy a new diary for every entry I make. That's a waste. I love to collect diaries. That explains these 5 diaries. This person must be pretty weird. Dearest diary, our cousin left the farm to become a training dummy. That leaves just Bluky and I. Bluky asked me if I was going to try to become corporeal too. They sounded so resigned. Come on, Bluky, you know I'd never leave you behind. And besides, I'd never find the kind of body I'm looking for anyway. Huh, training dummy. As in the dummy that we fought. And that dummy is also Undyne's training dummy. The thing about the dummy is that they're actually ghosts that inhabit physical bodies or physical objects. So that was actually Bluky's cousin. Huh. Or maybe not Bluky. Actually, whose cousin did it say again? Our cousin. Maybe. So basically this person is... These diaries are written by a ghost. Much like Bluky. So Bluky's neighbor was a ghost. Which, makes sense. This is like a ghost neighborhood. So it seems like, they were related to the dummy. So this is a ghost. That's what I'm trying to establish here. Jeez, I can't speak. My darling diary, I met someone interesting today. Last week I posted that advertisement for my human fan club. Today was our first meeting. Only one other came. Honestly, she's a dork, and she's obsessed with these awful cartoons. But she's kind of funny too. I want to see her again. Huh. I know who you might be talking about. The cartoons gave it away. Diary, my dear. My diary collection is going fabulously. I have like 5 now. And now you have 6. Dear diary, she surprised me with something today. Sketches of a body that she wants to create for me. A form beyond my wildest fantasies. In a form like that, I could finally feel like, myself. After all, there's no way I can be a star the way I am now. Sorry, Bluky, my dreams can't wait for anyone. But she told Bluky you would never leave him just to become Well, you broke your promise to Bluky. You broke Bluky's heart, Mettaton. Yeah, so these 6 diaries were written by a ghost, a friend or even family member of Bluky, and this ghost eventually became Mettaton. Remember how the trading dummy was a ghost inhabiting a physical body? As it turns out, Mettaton was a ghost inhabiting a robotic body. So Mettaton is not just a robot. Mettaton is a ghost inside of a robot, which in a sense shows that Mettaton is, in a sense, alive, aside from being a robot. Now, I think there was like at least one hint towards this nature of Mettaton. When you talk to Catty and Brady about the origins of Mettaton, they say that being built, Mettaton being built was actually his idea, not Alphys's. At first I said, that doesn't make any sense. How can a robot built by Dr. Alphys, say that being built was their idea? Well, perhaps it was because this ghost wanted some sort of physical body so that they can become a star. And look what they've become. They went from dreaming of becoming a star, like here, into an actual star. The star of the underground. And, well, I think they also said that Mettaton was Alphys's old friend. And indeed, they did become friends ever since they went to the human fan club that Mettaton started. So there's some fan art of what Mettaton might have looked like when he was still a ghost. I think there's like one I like. It's like Bluky, but with Mettaton's hair and, with confidence. I can imagine that this friend must have been like Bluky's confident friend who would always try to bring everyone up. I mean, this friend was the one who brought Chiron up from her gloomy self when she was mourning over her sister. So I can imagine that this ghost must have been like a rock to Bluky, and then when they left, Bluky's all alone. Chiron was all alone. In other words, so many people were left alone because, well, Mettaton became Mettaton. So that's a little sad. Now there was another hint about Blueky and Mettaton's relationship. Remember, after we fought Mettaton, the first caller was Blueky, if you couldn't tell, judging by how they spoke. But as soon as they finished speaking, Mettaton was all like, "No, you know, he was about to say BL. As in, "No, Blueky!" So, yeah, so that was the origin. So that's the origin of Mettaton. Now for the next item. I'm gonna have to take the riverboat dude so I can go to, I need to find a way to get to Hotland without going through Alphys' lab. Okay, I rode the elevator up to this area. This is where I bought hot dogs from Sans, who was slacking off on the job. How many jobs does he have? Because he also stands in the corridor to judge you. So, hey Sunderplane or Soonerplane, what's up? Hey, watch where you stand, jerk! Though, I guess if there's nowhere else you can stand closer. How Sunder of you. So, here's something curious. There's actually a hidden passageway here. Oh, look at that. Who knows what lies in the future for Art Club? So, nothing's gonna happen here. Absolutely nothing. Unless you change the time on your computer to October 10th, 8 p.m. So I'm gonna have to do that on my computer, so excuse me. Okay, I was afraid this would happen. I think I was a little too late in doing this. But yeah, I think I wasn't supposed to do the neutral ending before doing this. So what I wanted to show off was a very, 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 very secret boss. A secret boss that is so secret. He's also incredibly controversial amongst the Undertale fanbase for reasons I actually cannot comprehend. Like, I actually cannot comprehend why people hate him. Maybe except for like one reason. I think the one reason why people would hate him is just because of how obscure he is. Like, I mentioned that you need to set your computer clock for October 10th, 8 p.m. So this boss that I wanted to show you is named So Sorry. So Sorry was a character who was bought in by someone during the Kickstarter thing. So I mentioned that Muffet and Glide were characters that were bought in during the Kickstarter. Well, I think So Sorry was bought in by the person who paid the highest amount in the Kickstarter, and the prize was that they would have their own boss fight. Which is, I think it's like boss fight, and then the next two would be enemy fights. Although I don't think that makes much sense since Muffet is also a boss fight, but Glide is an enemy encounter. But yeah, So Sorry was bought in by the person who paid the most in the Kickstarter. But the person who paid the most said that he wanted to distance himself from the creator. So this would allow Toby Fox to have creative freedom. So Sorry, which I'm showing off on screen. The appearance was based off of, I think, the person's own pre-existing avatar somewhere. And basically it attacks with orange and blue attacks like Asgore did. And it also attacks with, well, art, paper, and doodles that come alive. Much like that one SpongeBob episode with Frankendoodle. So it's a weird battle with some weird music. If you want to spare So Sorry, you just have to make sure you don't attack him for 11 turns. But whenever his doodles are on screen, those turns are not counted. So it has to be 11 turns total without any of his doodles showing up. So that, the doodles can slow the battle down, but you would have to do the draw act in order to get rid of the doodles. Now, you can also kill So Sorry. Now, I think if you check So Sorry, it'll say, this character seems like he's in the wrong time and space. And, I guess it might imply the whole secret nature of So Sorry, but yeah, people hate So Sorry for some reason. I actually don't know why.
Come on!
It's just a part of the fan base that Nintendogs, of course. It's just a part of the fan base that I just don't really understand well. So, I know that if you want to fight So Sorry, you need to have fought Muffet first. And I think the Undertale wiki says you need to have accessed the MTT resort. But I think I might have been a bit too late, because I guess you cannot fight so sorry after the neutral ending. I'm not an expert on this, so I might have screwed this up. I might have screwed this up big time, but sorry. See what I did there? Alright, so let's try to do something more successful, shall we? So, before we fought Asgore, we reset a bunch of times during Sans' judgment, and we pretty much confirmed that Sans is aware of our time-traveling abilities, and Sans may also have some sort of time-traveling abilities. Eventually, he gave us his key to his room. Now, when we dated Papyrus, we never got to access Sans' room. Except for now. Okay, this is weird and scary. Gonna go back outside. Now I have to see. Sans was all like, now's the time for you to see the truth, or something like that, so I have to see. What is here? I'm in the endless void of darkness. What am I going to do? Where am I? Oh no. This must be hell. I regret everything. What the heck?
Hey, Sans, have you seen my... Oh, hello, you aren't Sans.
I'm your date. Also, why is there a tornado in Sans' room? So I was just walking on his treadmill for some reason.
Wait a second. Why were you using a treadmill in the dark?
Because I thought I was in hell.
Is Sans breaking you across this time and space?
Yes. Is that why he gave me his key? To prank me across time and space?
I hate it when he does that. How immature can you get?
I see he's also done that to you too, manipulating space and time to prank you. Great job, Sans.
Also, have you seen my action figures?
No. Why would I care about them? Also, look at all of the socks. Weren't those all of the socks? I wonder, if Sans can travel through time and space, maybe Sans did put his sock back in his room, but then refused to clean up after himself because of time travel. Time travel. It doesn't really make sense.
Wait, I know what they look. In my collection.
Damn it, Papyrus. You and Sans.
Yeah, sometimes I'm a genius all the time.
You sure are, Papyrus.
Proud of you. Proud of you.
Well, I guess this is Sans' room. Sans' dirty sock pile. So scandalous. I wonder what Papyrus has to say about this room. Really? Okay. It appears to be a self-sustaining tornado made of trash. That is impressive, if I ever seen it. What the heck is this? Silver key. Interesting. It's another key. Thank you letter to Santa. I did speculate that clothes and trombones. Nice. So that Sans can play incidental music. Uncovered pillow. Scandalous. Worn mattress. That ball looks like a cabbage. My cabbages! What is this letter here? The truth is that you got owned, nerd. Damn it, Sans. I got dunked on. Well, I'm not gonna lie, that was dumb. But hey, we got a silver key, so might as well use that. Hey guys, what's up? How you doing? You okay? Oh, you're gonna say the same things. Didn't we go over the fact that we helped Alphys out? Anyway, so now that we have a key, we can actually open a door behind the house. There's a back door that we never really got to explore because it's out of view and it was locked. What the hell? This is like a basement? Also, this sounds like the song It's Raining Somewhere Else. But it sounds slower at a different pitch. Weird. There's a photo album inside a drawer. There are photos of... Huh? A card is sticking out from the back flap of the binder. It's a poorly drawn picture of 3 smiling people. Written on it, don't forget. Yeah, it is It's Raining Somewhere Else. It was a song that played when Sans was telling us a story about how he told jokes with the woman behind the door. And that's when Sans said, "You'd be dead where you stand if it weren't for Toriel's help." A badge, huh. So it's interesting how that song would play here. Then again, it was a key found in Sans' room that took us down here, which I assume maybe like what, Sans' workshop or something like that? Blueprints. Weird. What are they of? Some kind of strange machine. I kinda want to know more about this machine. What is this here? Strange machine that is broken. So, this may be Santa's workshop, but it may also be a laboratory or of some sorts. I forget what this room exactly has to do with... Hold on, let me come back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry, I thought there was going to be something more explicit that I can talk about, but let's talk about a few things here. Maybe we can start with this. Symbols that are illegible. Like as if they're like in some weird handwriting, or maybe we just can't read them because they're symbols. So here's the thing about Undertale that you can't actually see in a typical playthrough, unless you're lucky. So there's a certain character that was made, but we'll never run into him. His name is W.D. Gaster. Now, who is W.D. Gaster? And what does he have to do with any of this? The second question is a bit of a stretch, but I believe this picture may be related to Gaster. Maybe these people may be people associated with Gaster, and that's what I'll get to soon. So, who is Gaster? W.D. Gaster is a skeleton, much like Papyrus and Sans. And if you look into his name, WD stands for Wingdings, and Aster is not really a font, but it's related to fonts. So in a sense, he's like Papyrus and Sans in that they're named after fonts and their skeletons. Now, you may be wondering, how does that even make any sense? Well, so here's the thing. Who the hell is W.D. Gaster? Gaster was the royal scientist for King Asgore before Alphys. He was the one who was responsible for creating the core. Let me say that again. W.D. Gaster created the core. Now, you only hear of Gaster from, I think, around 4 characters in the game, and that's if you're lucky. In a typical playthrough, well actually maybe 4 or 5 characters. In a typical playthrough, you may most likely hear of Gaster from one person, the river person. Every now and then the river person, as you travel between Snowdin, Waterfall, and Hopland, will say something like this: "Beware the man who speaks in hands." Or the river person may also say, "The man who came from the other world." Now, what does the first thing say? Speaks in hands is related a little bit to the Wingdings font, which is like, all symbols and such, much like the symbols on the blueprints. Now, so a lot of things related to Gaster are unused assets, but randomly, your game has a certain random number called a fun variable, or a fun number. I mentioned this before when I talked about the wrong number song, where I said you only hear the wrong number song if your game's fun number is a certain value, so it's kind of based on luck. The thing about the wrong number song is that when someone calls you, they're like, "Hello, is this G?" Many people speculate that maybe the person wanted to talk with Gaster before realizing you are not Gaster. And who knows, maybe it could be the case. And maybe Toriel may have known Gaster, and maybe we are holding Gaster's phone. That's a speculation, but it seems possible that they wanted to call Gaster. Now, what happened to Gaster? So, let me talk about Gaster's 3 followers. At least I think there are 3. They're characters you run into if your game's fun number is of a certain value. So once again, you run into them randomly depending on your game. You may not run into them, like I have. I have not run into any of his followers. Gaster's 3 followers look like characters we have encountered from the game before. They look like Monster Kid, the guy who was licking the ficus plant, and the guy who bought the spider donut or spider stuff from Muffet's Bake Sale, except they're all grayscale. Now, his followers speak about what happened to Gaster. His followers say that Gaster must have fallen into his creation, or maybe an experiment went wrong, and now Gaster is shattered across space and time. His creation and experiment may be related to this strange machine. Maybe the blueprints may be related to this space, machine. And maybe what's happened is that because of that, Gaster doesn't exist anymore. He just exists across all universes. Like, I mentioned that space and time is kind of a thing that's kind of an element of this game, especially with Sans being knowledgeable of your reloads, of how he's a time traveler. So perhaps Gaster was also a time traveler, and maybe someone who was definitely aware of the fact that we can reload the game and save the game and start things over, and the fact that there are timelines that are alternate from what we are in right now. Since we're doing a pacifist run, it doesn't always have to be a pacifist run. There may be alternate playthroughs. Maybe Gaster is also aware of that. So I think this photo may be a photo of, or a picture of Gaster's 3 followers. Now, occasionally, depending on your game's fun values, you can also enter random rooms where you can come across some shadowy figures or whatever. You come across some things that relate to Gaster, maybe even Gaster himself, as you can see here with the sprite. This is a sprite you may come across in one of the random rooms, and many people say that this must be what Gaster looks like. Interestingly, the sprite also looks like something else if you turn it upside down, which is kind of similar to the nature of Shiren, who also looks like 2 things, but also 1 thing as well. I don't know, there's a lot of speculation about this character who you never encounter in the game, and there's a lot of information that may be, conspiracies or evidence or whatever. A lot of the things related to the rooms and the followers, I think, only became accessible naturally after the patch. Before the game's patch, even the followers in the rooms were inaccessible. A lot of things were, found out about Gaster through, I guess, like, digging into the assets of Undertale, like digging into, the things that didn't make it into the game. Which kind of, relates to the nature of Gaster, of how he's not really a character that you come across. So, yeah, that is the story of Gaster, the 3rd skeleton, named after Wingdings, who doesn't exist, but existed. And he was a royal— Whoa! Okay, I was here. So hey, he was a royal scientist before Alphys. So there's a lot of things about Gaster that are unanswered, and those are things I just cannot answer, because I honestly don't know much about him. I only know things about, like, speculation. Like, that's all I can do, pretty much. Speculate. I mean, the fact that there are assets here and there, and the fact that you can access those assets randomly in the game now, kind of imply that maybe, Gaster was meant to be something. Now, there's something that we will never see in this Let's Play of Undertale, but let me just say this. In an alternate dimension of Undertale, one may come across this thing called a Gaster Blaster. A Gaster Blaster is something you definitely encounter in this alternate universe. Gaster was a scientist after all. He was responsible for creating a lot of interesting things. He was a royal scientist before Alphys. But speaking of Alphys, we will be going into Alphys' lab in the next video, because, well, we received an invitation. And maybe it can allow us to get to know Alphys some more, so we can become better friends. So how about it? Next video, let's do that. And sorry about So Sorry, I guess I messed up, but it was something I was never able to be certain of until I actually experienced it, and I wasn't really feeling up to fighting So Sorry anyway, even though I don't really understand the hate behind So Sorry. Okay, I'm speaking too much, bye.